Hi everyone, welcome to Cupboard Creations. My name's Gareth and this is my little corner of the internet for playing with my food. Going to take you through something today which is quite simple. It's a nice risotto. This is my squid and sun-dried tomato risotto. Now, just before I get started, it's a bit of a special day when this video comes out, so I just want to say a massive happy birthday to my little sister. I know you're going to love this recipe. Absolutely obsessed with seafood, so you should love this one. So, love you sis, have a great birthday. Now let's crack on. So we've just got a few little things we need to prep before we start cooking. And that's, we need half a large onion. So we just want to dice this into really small bits. So easiest way to do that, just cut it in half that way, root to tip. And then we just slice along to get a really small dice out of it. So there we go, that's the onion done. Now we're going to use 2 cloves of garlic. Okay, so that's the onion and garlic done. And then right at the end, but we're going to chop it out now just so we're nice and prepared. Got our sun-dried tomatoes. So you want about 50 grams of these. So that's about half the jar. And then we're just going to again chop that up. It's nice little slivers. So getting your sun-dried tomato, just cut across it widthways. So you've got nice little bits like that. Okay, so that's all my chopping prepared. Everything's there ready for the extra ingredients. So we're just going to put that to the side. Now we're going to get on and prepare the squid. So I'll need another board there. Now I've got just frozen squid here, which works beautifully for this. You can get absolute, full-on proper squid from your fishmongers if you've got one, and it will be delicious. It will just raise that level up a bit more. But this works just as well with your frozen squid from the supermarket. So to prep it, so dry it off a bit. So I want to pat that dry. Then we're going to slice it in half, lengthways. So we've got the middle. Give that another pat. And then what you want to do is, using the weight of the knife, you just want to score in a crisscross pattern on the inside of the squid. So there we go. There's our piece of squid, all patted dry. And what we want to do is just crisscross through there, just using the weight of the knife. Then chop that into bits like that. You see, as that curls up, you'll just get this almost hedgehog-like kind of tube. So last one. Now, if you can't get whole squid like this frozen, just using squid rings will do perfectly well. It's not desperate that you have these. I kind of like the way they cook and the way they look once it's all done. But I've made this with just pure squid rings and it works just as well. So that's all my 4 squid done. Got all the rest of our little chopped ingredients. Now it's time to head over and actually cook the risotto up. See you over there. Okay, so my pan's on. Just put in a glug of olive oil, so about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now we're going to fry off our squid now. So what we can do, check that's hot, which it is. And then squid goes in, as does the garlic. And to that we're going to add half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I'm using the sweet one here, just because I like that little bit of sweetness to it. Just going to add that in there. And then we're going to fry this off just until it starts to go like really opaque. They'll start to kind of curl up on themselves. It's only going to be a couple, like minute or two, because you don't want it to overdo. Okay, that's done. So you can see we've got these lovely little curled up bits of squid now. The reason we're cooking it beforehand, so what I'm going to do very quickly is hide these out. So you want to leave as much of the liquid in the bottom as you can. Just pull the bits of squid out. The reason we're doing that is because that squid frying in the pan with the garlic and with the smoked paprika just creates this lovely base for the risotto. Get all of those flavours. If you put it all in at the end, it just doesn't give it that oomph. Now I've got that liquid, I'm going to turn it right down. Put those to one side until later on. And that's great. So to that, we're going to add a knob of butter. Not too much, probably about 15 grams. Perfect. And then we're going to add in our chopped onion. So just before we let that sweat down, I'm going to pop in a bay leaf, or 2 halves. Just going to add that little bit of extra flavour in there. So get that stirred around, pop the lid on, leave that for about 8 to 10 minutes until the onion is really nicely sweated down and soft. So I'll leave that, I'll come back to you then. Cheers. Okay, so our onion's sweated down nicely. We're just going to add in a risotto rice. So I've got 160 grams of risotto rice here. Just going to pour that straight in, give it a mix around in all those juices. You'll see it's almost, with the paprika, goes a slightly kind of pinkish orange colour. So we're going to leave that to fry off a little bit until the grains are slightly glistening. Okay, that's great. They're just covered now nicely, and they're just starting, 1 or 2 of them, to slightly kind of get slightly translucent, almost the opposite way to the squid. Just around the edges, so that's perfect. So to that, we're going to add in a small glass or 125ml of white wine. Just about that. Again, give that a stir around, turn it up a little bit, because we're going to boil that off so that all that wine starts to evaporate. We've got very little of it left. All it's there to do is really flavour the dish. Okay, so my wine's evaporated down. Yeah, it's almost become like a sludge at the bottom. Perfect. So now, fish stock. Now I'm just using a stock cube, or stock pot, dissolved in 500ml of boiling water. And we're just going to put in about 1/3 of it. Lovely. You want to do this in stages, because what you don't want is to end up pouring way too much stock in there. The rice is all cooked, and then you end up overcooking the entire thing. It goes kind of, yeah, it's not a risotto anymore really, it's more like a rice pudding. So you want to do it in little stages, and we're going to simmer that gently until it's absorbed almost all of it. and then we'll pour in a bit more. We'll keep coming back. It's probably going to take about 12 minutes, maybe a little longer, and just keep adding it in until the rice is just al dente. Right, that's brilliant. It's just bubbled off the rest of that liquid. It's all pretty hot, but good. Yeah, you can still feel each individual grain when you're eating, and that's exactly what you want. So, tasting that, I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and a grind or two of black pepper. There we go. That's perfect. So now we can turn that right down. We'll add in our rocket. So I've got 50 grams of rocket here that I've just cleaned off a bit. Giving it a wash. Just want to fold that through. And that'll very quickly start to wilt. There we go, it's going already. Now we've got our chopped sun-dried tomatoes going. Give them a nice stir through. Looking good already, looking really colourful. And then pop your squid back in. Perfecto. Lovely. Right. Stir that right through. Rogue bit of lettuce. And then I'm going to turn that off. Just add in another knob of butter, about another 15 grams. Give that a stir through. While we're doing it, if I can find the bay leaves, I'll just pull them out. There we go. Just because you don't really want to be chewing down on those. So the butter's melted in, that's all done. Lid on. We're just going to leave it there for 5 minutes. And that butter will just kind of help make everything a bit silky. With the usual risotto, you'd be using parmesan, and that would kind of make that really rich, kind of goopy mess, which tastes so delicious. We're going to use butter here because I don't think parmesan squid are really best friends. So leave that 5 minutes, pop back, serve up. Okay, so that's had it 5 minutes. Take the lid off, grab yourself a bowl, give it a last stir in case there's any little butter bits on the top, and then grab yourself a good old ladleful. There you go. A bit more. So there you go, that's my risotto. Put that on the back. Now to this, I'm just going to shake on, just to pretty it up, about a quarter of a tablespoon, that would be really too much, teaspoon of that smoked paprika, just because I love the flavour on there. Oof. So there we go, there's my squid, sun-dried tomato and rocket risotto. Absolutely lovely, so sweet, pepperiness of the rocket with that squid. Absolutely delicious. So, that's really good. So, hope you give it a try. Hope you enjoy it. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.